Hey everyone, and welcome to this highly requested explainer. Look, if you're gearing up for the PIFPA, Dow, CSS, or PMS exams, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're ditching the highlighters, we're closing those sleep-inducing PDFs, and we are unpacking the exact mechanics of the Pakistan Engineering Council's March 2024 Modified Price Adjustment provisions. This is a genuinely critical topic that tests your grasp of contract administration during times of crazy economic fluctuation, and we're going to break it all down so it sticks in your memory permanently.
Okay, let's dive into this. Everything we are covering today is pulled directly from the official March 4, 2024 PEC notification, and it's super crucial to understand that this amended version was issued in line with the recommendations of ECNIC. That's the Executive Committee of the National Economic Council. So this isn't just theoretical textbook stuff, right? It's the mandatory official directive for managing the massive price hikes in construction inputs that have hit the country since 2020. Because let's be honest, nothing says fun weekend reading quite like bureaucratic red tape trying to mathematically tame rampant inflation. But jokes aside, this document right here, this is your ultimate exam authority.
To make your studying as efficient as possible, here is our roadmap. Applicability dates, the 30/70 adjustment rule, the PN formula, fixed price and consultancy contracts, and finally, contractor defaults. By the end of this explainer, you're going to have this completely memorized.
Starting right off with Section 1, Contract Applicability Dates.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because this right here is a massive exam trap. Not every contract just magically gets this special relief. To be considered an ongoing contract eligible for this, the contract must have been made up to September 30, 2022. But, and here's the critical distinction you need to remember, the price adjustment doesn't apply to everything in that contract. It only actually kicks in for physical work executed starting from January 1, 2021. So the contract is signed by September 2022, sure, but the financial relief is strictly for the physical work done from January 2021 onwards. You absolutely must keep those two dates strictly separate in your mind.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 30/70 adjustment rule. And this brilliantly illustrates the core economic parameters of the whole document. Pay close attention to the math here. We have a mandatory ratio. A minimum of 30% of the contract value absolutely must remain fixed. That's the non-adjustable portion. The remaining slice, up to a maximum of 70%, is the adjustable portion. The directive strictly states it won't apply to any ongoing contracts where the fixed portion's weightage is less than 30%. Basically, the state is stepping in to help contractors survive inflation, for sure, but the contractors still have to absorb at least 30% of that baseline risk themselves.
3%. I want you to drill this specific metric into your memory right now. When a contractor lists the individual cost elements they want adjusted, things like steel, cement, or labor, each individual element has to hold a minimum weightage of 3% of the total contract value to even be considered. If an element's weightage is sitting at, say, 2%, it gets completely tossed out. 3% is your absolute minimum threshold to play the game.
All right, Section 3, the PN formula.
Now we're breaking down the actual algebraic calculation used to find that price adjustment factor, PN. Don't let the math intimidate you. It's honestly incredibly logical. PN is your adjustment factor. A represents that constant fixed portion we just talked about, that mandatory 30% or more. The lowercase letters B, C, and D, well, those represent the specific weightages for those adjustable items like labor or steel. And LN over LO is just the current price index divided by the base price index. But listen closely. Here is your massive exam takeaway. The sum of the fixed portion A plus all your adjustable weightages B, C, and D must exactly equal 1.00, no exceptions. If those fractions don't add up to a perfect 1.00, the entire calculation is invalid.
Next up, Section 4, Fixed Price and Consultancy Contracts.
I want you to take a second and mentally guess the outcome here. What happens to contracts that originally had zero price adjustment clauses in them? If a contractor signed a strict fixed-price contract, does the government just leave them out in the cold to go bankrupt during unprecedented inflation? And if they do offer relief, is there a penalty for changing the original rules midstream? Think about it. Have your guess ready?
So the crucial point is, yes, they actually do get relief. An amendment can be signed to incorporate the adjustment clause for works from January 2021 onwards. But because they are fundamentally altering a fixed agreement, it comes with a pretty strict penalty. An escalation equal to 10% of the adjustable amount of the respective invoice is permanently deducted from their total calculated price adjustment. It's a huge lifeline, absolutely, but it comes with a mandatory 10% tax for essentially changing the contract type.
We also really need to contrast this with consultancy contracts, because they are treated entirely differently than standard physical construction. While construction uses that complex PN weightage formula we just looked at, consultancies adjust their billing rates based purely on the Combined Consumer Price Index, or CPI. Specifically, it uses the CPI for the month of July. So if an exam question specifically asks you about consulting engineers, you are looking for that July CPI formula, not the PN weightage.
Finally, we hit Section 5, Handling Contractor Defaults. The PEC is providing massive financial relief across the board, sure, but what happens when a project is delayed entirely due to the contractor's own fault? Consider this scenario. A contractor misses the completion deadline, totally their fault, and the project drags on for months. During that delay, national inflation just keeps pushing prices up. Does the government just keep paying higher and higher adjusted prices to cover for the contractor's own incompetence? How do you think the PEC handles accountability here?
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the dual-sided penalty they've set up. If the delay is the contractor's fault, the price adjustment rate is immediately frozen at the original completion date. Boom! They don't get a single penny more for rising inflation during their own delay. But here's the real kicker. If actual market rates happen to drop during that delayed period, the formula is applied using the newly reduced rate. It's wild. The state freezes the ceiling, but happily removes the floor. Now, conversely, if the delay is a no-fault delay approved by the employer, the adjustment remains payable in full for the extended period.
One last technical note, the official sunset clause. This relief isn't just a permanent free-for-all. Procuring agencies are mandated to monitor these contracts closely. The official condition of an unprecedented price hike is deemed to be completely over when the price adjustment naturally falls to 10% or below. Once it hits that 10% normalization threshold, the amended contracts automatically revert right back to their original, unamended state.
Before we wrap up today, we really want to deliver a highly professional and sincere acknowledgement. Special thanks to Dr. Dina Shiwakoti, Doctor of Engineering in Civil Engineering, for his invaluable technical expertise and contributions to the clarity of these complex administration concepts. His academic rigor makes deep dives exactly like this one possible.
I want to leave you all with a final thought to chew on. Consider how understanding these precise technical parameters totally changes your view on massive infrastructure management during a crisis. It's not just about throwing money at a problem. It's about holding an entire construction sector together through strict mathematics and shared risk, without ever giving contractors a free pass for failure. If you like our explainer, subscribe, like, and share our explainer for good information. Keep reviewing these exact parameters, and you will absolutely ace your exams. Happy studying, everyone!